fantasy rivals.
Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins announced that Tua Tagovailoa, my expert, Mark, how do you say his last name?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, you don't even know either? Tua T.
I nailed it.
That was not it, mother. All right.
Tagovailoa. I tell ya.
Tagovailoa.
Yikes.
Is that Hawaiian? He's Hawaiian,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. If not, it should be. All right. So anyway, announcing him as the starter right now. The Dolphins are 3-3. Is this the right call? What's going on? What's going on with Brian Flores? What's he thinking?
So you know me, I sit on a fence better than anyone.
Yeah, and you enjoy
But
it.
And let me tell you, I'm going to enjoy it this time too, because I can't decide if this is good for tanking or if he's the better play at quarterback. And I kind of think the Dolphins are like, we'll be happy either way it goes. So let's say he's terrible, we're going to get a higher draft pick, or he comes out guns blazing and they kind of make it competitive in the East. New England's super vulnerable right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're a game back of Miami. The Bills are like clear favorites, but I don't know. Why not the Dolphins? Or at least get to 9 wins.
And, I understand what you're saying. They've won the last 2 games, and you look at – his name's Fitzmagic for a reason, right, baby? 278 yards a game. He's got a 70% completion percentage. And they're winning football games, and they have the chance to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. But on the flip side, I understand what they're trying to do. There's a huge progression for quarterbacks in year 2. So you look at it right now, they have half a season. Get him the experience. Let him make some mistakes now. Next year is going to be a big year for growth. And then year 3, bam, we're hoping that we can be a contender in the AFC. So it's a tough spot. I just feel like at 500, I don't know if I would have made the move yet. It just sounds like it was predetermined before the year started.
Yeah, they wanted to give him time, get healthy, and then obviously the bye week, with a full 2 weeks to prepare as your starter.
Sure.
They want that. Obviously Tua, if he wasn't hurt, may have been the number 1 overall pick. So
Right.
He could be just as good as the other rookie quarterbacks have been, like Herbert and Burrow. But do the Dolphins take a step back, like emotionally, after how good Fitzpatrick's played with them?
The guy brings so much energy, right? Being out on the field, just in general, the way he carries himself, He's out there having fun. So it's definitely going to be a different kind of energy, I think, when Tua gets in there. There'll be some excitement. There'll be some nerves. Do you think that bringing him against the Rams for his first start is the way to go because you have Aaron Donald on the defensive line?
That can't be ideal.
It can't be because they have the Cardinals, Chargers, Broncos, Jets, and Bengals following the Rams this week.
Right.
So it's almost like, I don't know. I kind of like Cardinals, Chargers, Denver. I like that part of the schedule a little bit more than I like playing the Rams in his first start.
Who maybe have the best defensive line in football, which
Correct.
it's not what you want to see.
No.
But yeah, it has to do with the bye and more time to prepare. Another thing I thought of, is it better that there's no fans, like for when he has to play his first away game and there's not people down his throat screaming if they're like backed up on their own goal line?
First away game, absolutely. But I also kind of wonder how it's going to affect his first home start because you see the standing ovations. A lot of these guys get, a lot of these rookies. People are invested in their first round picks, right? We haven't seen him take a snap at the NFL level yet. So that's why it's like, well, Brian Flores has a lot more visibility to what's going on. He's been seeing how he's practicing. He's been seeing how he meshes with the team. If he didn't feel like Tua was in a position to take over this team and have some success, then I don't think they would switch off of Fitzpatrick at this point. But hearing Fitzpatrick talk today, it was sad. The guy's been in the league for a long time, and I know you're one of the biggest Fitzmagic fans that I know.
Love that guy.
But he was emotional. He's older. He doesn't know. Was that going to be his last start? Is he going to be a Miami Dolphin forever? He's flat out said, I'm not going to demand a trade. I don't want anything like that. He knew his role going into it. But the fact that Flores didn't talk to him about it a little bit before the year started, like you just pull him in the middle of a heater, I feel like that could have been handled better, right?
It seems a little odd. Like, I mean, you drafted 2 in the first round. Fitzpatrick has to know that, like, at some point his times will be short-lived. Like, maybe give him a heads up so he's like knows what he's getting into.
Right.
I hope what are the odds he plays in New York next year? I'd say that probably one of the 2 New York teams, I would put money on that Fitzpatrick's on them.
I mean, honestly, he could play better than what they have right now.
Right. They have the most need. And
Joe Flacco is starting in for the Jets right now. He is 40 years old. They clearly know he's not the guy. So, obviously, Jets are going to go early. They're going to try to take, Justin Fields maybe or
Lawrence.
Sunshine, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an abomination. Flacco has a Super Bowl and Fitzpatrick doesn't. It's just ruined my week.
It's terrible the way that works out. How do you think he lines up compared to Herbert and Burrow, though? Because I know there was a lot of during the draft this year, people were interchanging out Herbert and Tua. And again, like you mentioned, would he have been able to go first overall if he didn't have that injury at the end of his collegiate career?
I have always been a huge Tua and Burrow guy over Herbert. Like, this Herbert so far has surprised the hell out of me. Tua had a lot longer college and like successful college career than Burrow did. Like, Burrow just came on guns blazing his final year and did awesome. If I was to rank them now, I'm still going Burrow, Tua, Herbert. But I still think that draft class is going to be pretty awesome in terms of quarterbacks.
I agree. And I kind of feel like the quarterback landscape in general is taking, leaps and bounds forward because you're seeing a lot of these kids come out and they can play. The way that college football, youth football is moving is they're slinging the ball all over the field. That's the way the NFL is starting to go because you're not going to win the NFL if you can't throw the ball downfield. So, yeah, really excited to see what all 3 of these guys can do. But I would agree, I'd probably still put Tua behind Burrow just because you look at Alabama, and Alabama's a powerhouse with or without Tua, right? LSU, don't get me wrong, historically LSU has a great football program. But he came in and he did some special things as a starting quarterback. So
yeah, they set records. Oh, and there's always been some concern about Tua's arm strength not being elite, but the kid was a freshman and played the national championship and had no problem. Balls of steel.
You talk about elite arm strength. Look at Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Now.
These guys they don't have hoses. Peyton, the last year of Peyton's career, he was throwing they were wobblers, man. But it didn't matter because it was the only place that his receiver was going to catch the ball. So that's my one criticism when people talk about arm strength. I think accuracy is going to go a lot further, especially when you mix in his speed. But again, he's still a young guy. He's going to develop. He's not even a man yet. So we'll see what happens, as he progresses and, rooting for Tua, hoping for the best.